Howdy and welcome. I'm Mike, your self-proclaimed world's greatest solo board game hostage negotiator. We're looking to see whether or not this stands as a top solo game. The reason we're looking at it is we're reviewing some games that I've had a chance to play recently, and this is the only game I have been playing all week. That's because I've been playing the base game plus 10, 11, 12 expansions. I have not gotten through them all yet. So first of all, Hostage Negotiator is by Van Ryder Games. This is a single player game only. It's not a cooperative game. In it, you are working as a hostage negotiator trying to save your hostages from being killed by the abductor, because they're not all bad people, and that's what's kind of cool. We'll get into some of the different abductors as well as their demands. So as the hostage negotiator, what you do is you have conversation cards that you can play from your hand that you collect. You can play a conversation card to try to reason with the abductor. Then to see whether or not your conversation was successful, you roll some die. Depending on the result, either things go really well or really bad. What that means is that I just lost a dice. That's what that means. What that means is there's plenty of luck in this game. If you don't like luck, this won't be for you, because sometimes the dice rolls are they just put you in such terrible predicaments, or every great now and then they put you in a good predicament. However, it's not all luck. There is plenty of luck mitigation through your play. So it's thrilling. It gives you a rush. You are not going to win every game. You're likely not going to win your first time against an abductor. I have won it during my second or third time with some of the abductors. Some of the abductors I just haven't been able to beat yet. But anyway, that's how that works. And in order to increase your hand and your options, well, you start out with these free cards. So you have 6 cards that you start out with, 6 conversation cards. Then as you play a round, you earn conversation points by moving this lovely little marker up, and you're able to purchase some more advanced conversations like sniper, take the shot, or all units, get in there now, that have special abilities to either save a bunch of hostages or to capture the abductor or eliminate in some cases. So the number of hostages varies by abductor. They all have a certain amount. I'm playing a very particular one. The only hostages are the father's 2 children. However, in cases in an office, there might be 9 hostages that you're trying to save. If you fail, they can get killed, or you can save them. If more get killed than are saved, you always lose. There are other lose conditions. So, first of all, in the base game, I got to play against Arcane Masua. And Arcane Masua is just an angry convict that got out, and he's got a lieutenant by his side that you are just trying to meet his random demands so that he can escape and you can save the hostages. Now, Donna Scarborough, I believe she was a teacher, right? Let me take a look here. Yeah, she's like a college professor, and she's just lost her mind, so she has taken some of her students hostage, and she has some very unique demands that change the game up. I beat her on my first try because her demands matched my method of trying to keep the threat level down. So throughout the game, as you play conversation cards, the threat level, the patience of the abductor goes up or down. The lower the better, but I'm talking too much. So anyway, let's go. This guy I really liked, Edward Quinn. He is a man who is just looking to get health care for his poor son, and he doesn't have insurance, so his son isn't getting treated. So he takes hostages in order to get treatment, and you as the hostage negotiator get to make some cool decisions. I made the decision to treat his son. I gave in to the demands, but I thought that was a worthy cause. So he was a fun one. Definitely a challenge. I played Demand Pack number 1 and number 2. So these 3 come with the base game. Then comes the expansions. So I did Demand Pack 1 and 2, and what that does is that just gives new demands to be mixed into already existing abductors, including the 3 from the base game as well as the 10 expansion abductors. So that was Demand Pack 1 and 2. They just get mixed in. They're not standalone expansions. All right, I went against this guy, Gonzalo Herrera, And this was kind of cool. This was kind of like the movie Speed. So you've got a guy on a bus. He takes everyone on the bus hostage and is trying to escape. You are communicating with him while the bus is moving. There are certain actions you can take while the bus is on the move, and then you can also make the bus stop, and you have a different set of actions to pick from. So that was exciting. I did not beat him. These guys here, the twins, Peterson twins, they have got to be, in my opinion, the hardest ones that I have played yet. One of them is like a businessman. He's incredibly smart, and the other is just a psychopath who is extremely strong and will just hurt people. And so you are going against both of these abductors at the same time, trying to meet their demands. Most of your time you're dealing with the business-minded one, but if you end up getting him out of the picture, you got to deal with the crazy pants one, and it's so hard. So if you're looking for a challenge, do the Peterson twins. If you're not ready for that, you're just gonna lose and lose and lose. Lieutenant Jackson was super cool. So this guy was on the police force, and they introduced the Stockholm Syndrome mechanic. So you actually have a Stockholm Syndrome card, and the captives, or I guess the hostages, as you play, they actually start identifying with the lieutenant, because what's happened is he has been falsely accused of a crime. You, as the hostage negotiator, get to choose whether you believe him or not. I, of course, did believe him, and so you're trying to reason with him, but he's holding the hostages until his name is cleared. But they start identifying and going into a separate type of hostage of the Stockholm Syndrome. Lose, of course, if he ends up turning all the people into siding with him. So that was super cool. I did end up beating him, but I had to play it a couple times, and it was a great outcome. Found evidence that cleared his name, so at least nobody got hurt. All right, this one here, Circle of Adama. So you're dealing with a cult in this one, and this is interesting because you've got the hostages are actually the cult members. So you've got like 10 different cult members that you are trying to reason with to get them. They're in like a shootout standoff kind of thing. And each one of the cult members actually has a different personality. Some of them will kind of help you. They'll reason with you. And some are just crazy pants, and they will cause all kinds of trouble. And every turn you're cycling through having to negotiate with a different member, and you're trying to not let any of them die at the same time. So they're both the abductors and the captors. Super unique mechanic. Incognito is nuts. This is I believe the 10th, the last of the Abductor packs released. And in this one, you're dealing with a group of hackers called Incognito, or maybe it's just one hacker, but you have so many things you're working with. You are rolling dice against a security system that is not allowing you to find the abductor. So first you've got to find the abductor, you've got to take down the security system, but you don't do it just once because they're hackers, so they lift the security system back up every single round, so you're fighting to knock that down. They also have a bomb hidden somewhere in the city that you are trying to defuse, and if you don't defuse it in time, it can randomly go off. So you've got a lot going on to negotiate in that one. I did not win, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, Sammy X, this guy's interesting. He's got a medical condition with migraines, severe migraines, and because he can't stop them, it's driven him to madness, and he's taken hostages. So you are making these rolls, one, to treat his condition, because the more pain he's in, if he gets to a certain level, then you can't negotiate with him at all, and it becomes impossible and you lose. So you're trying to get his pain level down so that you can reason with him. And he also, I believe Sammy also has a sister. I could be wrong. Yeah, no, oh no, he's trying to get immunity for his girlfriend. So this poor guy is just looking for treatment and for help, but man, he goes crazy when he's in pain. Now we've got this dude. He was the last one of the ones that I've played this week, Connor Ogden. And this is a CEO guy. He has an interesting mechanic when you combine him with the demand pack. So when I'm talking about these different expansions, each expansion is somewhere between $8 and $9 for each abductor pack. So you can just pick and choose the ones you want. Right now, as of the making of this video, they're not available on Van Ryder Games because they sold out. if that says anything about the game. So yes, I do think this is a top solo game from my whatever 15 or so plays that I've done at this point, including the expansions. The base game is somewhere around $30, $35, if I remember correctly. However, there is a plan, I believe, for another printing that should be coming in, so it will be available again. It's also sold out on a lot of other sites right now, like Noble Knight Games, so this was kind of a hot item, I think, when Final Girl came out. Anyway, back to Connor, CEO dude, and he is just upset that he got fired. And so this is just a bad guy that you're trying to reason with. But he took hostages in his office and he is threatening to push them out of the building. So it's a really scary, high tension situation. But the cool thing is, one of the demand pack expansion gives you this thing called a safety net card. And if you that card, you can lay a safety net. So anytime that he pushes a hostage out the window, you catch them. However, it's a one-time use. So you can have a strategy to always be trying to have enough conversation points to save the hostages as they fall, but it's not easy. Or you can just try to present them from being pushed out to begin with. But he has all kinds of other demands too, like he wants a new suit because his got dirty because of this hostage business. So played him a couple times, didn't beat him the first time, beat him the next time. Anyway, end of the day, here's the honest truth of it. When I bought the base game about a year ago maybe, I pulled it out. I played one round against the beginner guy, Arkham. I believe it's Arcane, against Arcane. And honestly, I was disappointed. And I think it's because I was playing bigger box games, heavier games, because I was newer to solo gaming. So when I played this, I was like, oh, that's fun. But I put it away and I didn't play it again. But I kept it. And this time when I pulled it out because I wanted to play it. Whereas the first time was more like, well, this is a solo game, I should play it. This time I really wanted to. I was like, you know what, I'm going to come at this with a fresh mindset. I played it again, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I have played through every Abductor, and I'm going to play through the next two that I have, just because the saving mechanic, it really is thrilling. You really do feel like you are trying to save the hostages from these abductors. My main complaint really was the artwork. The artwork's good, but on the conversation cards, it can get kind of boring if you're someone that's really drawn to art. And the gaming board, though it actually is very functional, it makes all kinds of sense. At that time, when I played it the first time, I was looking at games that had amazing art. So I think that threw me off. Anyway, once you get around that, and to be fair, the Abductors art is actually fantastic. It's very cool. The conversation cards are just more functional, really. But anyway, fantastic solo game, absolutely a top one. I highly recommend, as long as you're cool with the theme. There is another expansion that I don't have called Crime Wave, and I'm just waiting for that to become available. That adds all kinds of other gameplay. I don't know anything about it yet. I'm waiting until I get it. And then once you get the Crime Wave and 7 Abductors, you can get Hostage Negotiator Career, which is the campaign game, where you actually play through a hostage negotiator's career and create a story. It's described as kind of a love letter to fans of the game. So I have Hostage Negotiator Career, but I can't play it until I get Crime Wave. So looking forward to that. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this. Here's a playlist of other top solo games. I love you guys. See you next time.